I'd like to share a few quotes with you from employers, some feedback from employers in the field, comments that reflect what it is employers are actually looking for in the best candidates today. Here's one quote. The new economy favors people with qualities like self-motivation, initiative, flexibility, the ability to work with a team, and the capacity to learn and adapt to change. Notice the focus and emphasis on soft skills. Notice the emphasis on things that students are learning outside the classroom. Certainly you have to have the competency and the knowledge related to your major, but you also have to be able to apply that knowledge beyond the classroom and have these soft skills as well. I would advise today's students to be more adaptable, to be willing to do a lot of things, to be able to get your foot in the door. Another quote, the attributes of candidates rated most highly are writing, public speaking, management supervision, reading and interpretation, and public relations. Again, those skills, those attributes that are related to the person's experience rather than their education. Henry Ford II, the president of the Ford Motor Company, made this comment. The qualities which appeal to me, he said, are honesty, candor, good judgment, intelligence, imagination, and the ability to write clearly and concisely. So again, beyond the classroom, soft skills. Well-rounded candidates with evidence of creativity and leadership are most valuable in the job market. Again, more comments from employers in the field saying what it is they're really looking for. I get a chance to talk to employers pretty regularly, whether they are calling me to post jobs, or part of our career fairs, or part of our on-campus recruiting, or part of our employer advisory board. But in our interaction with these employers, we do get lots of good real-world feedback that tells us something about what students need to possess in order to be more competitive, in order to be more attractive in today's job market. Recently, I got a job posting from an employer basically saying, well, here are the qualifications for the the candidates we are seeking. Here is what we're looking for in terms of the job description. And then while the employer had my attention, he said, but here's what I'm really looking for. And then he gave me this graph. He gave me this, this chart. On a scale of 1 to 10, here's what I really care about. And what the employer said was this. On a scale of 1 to 10, work ethic is a 10. That's the most important thing. Then he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, the ability to learn is an 8. On a scale of 1 to 10, maturity rates an 8. On a scale of 1 to 10, communication skills is a 7. Skills and knowledge, that's a 6. And then grades, your grade point average, that's a 5. So you see, what's really important to employers has more to do with those sorts of things related to work ethic, integrity, soft skills, dealing with people. And that grades are important, but not as important as other things. The story we oftentimes tell is about the two candidates, Mr. 2.5 and Miss 4.0. And they both go to their job interviews. And Miss 4.0 is talking to the employer in the interview, and the interviewer says to Miss 4.0, well, gosh, 4.0, straight A student, that's very impressive. When you're not in class making these good grades, and when you're not studying for your tests, what do you do with your spare time? And Miss 4.0 says, I beg your pardon, what do you mean? And the employer says, well, I mean, like extracurricular activities. Are you involved in any of those? And the young lady says, well, gosh, I don't know what you mean. I'm not involved in any extracurricular activities. And the employer says, well, you know, like campus clubs and organizations. Are you a member of any of those? And the young lady says, oh, no, I'm not a member of any clubs or organizations. And then the employer says, oh, well, then you probably do a lot of community service then. And she said, oh, no, sir, I don't do any of that either. Oh, I see. I guess you have a part-time job. And she said, well, no, I don't have a part-time job. Oh, well, then maybe an internship? Perhaps you spend time in your internship. And the young lady says, well, no, I'm not doing an internship either. And the employer says, oh, well, then you must have a family. Perhaps you have some children that you have to take care of. No, sir, that's not my situation either. And the employer says, well, gosh, no wonder you have a 4.0 GPA. You don't have any distractions. And an employer in that situation is not going to be very interested in this candidate because there's a lot of book smarts, but not enough street smarts. A lot of book knowledge, but not a lot of real world knowledge. Not a lot of common sense to balance the book sense. And so the employer would then turn his attention to Mr. 2.5. This young lady hasn't really expanded her education beyond the classroom very much, really hasn't applied her knowledge really at all. But Mr. 2.5, on the other hand, in the interview, goes something like this. The employer says, well, what do you do in your spare time? And he begins to talk about the clubs that he's a member of, or organizations that he might have an official position in. And maybe talking about the part-time job and the community service activities he's involved in on the weekend, or the internship that he's involved in. And the employer is more impressed with this individual who has in fact applied his knowledge in a real-world setting, expanded his education beyond the classroom. The extracurricular activities, the experiential education is what differentiates the good candidates from the great candidates. And while employers are interested in your grades and they are interested in your degree, they want to know what you have done beyond the degree, what you've done outside the classroom. Employers ask for things like a greater understanding of the human condition, a well-rounded education, the ability to express yourself clearly in writing and orally, common sense, people-oriented, the ability to express ideas and thoughts convincingly and clearly. These are direct quotes from employers. Being a good learner, creativity, problem solving, critical thinking skills, working with others on a team in completion of a project. And here's a quote that I got from an employer in an email that I was sent recently. The employer had sent me an email of a job posting, and on the bottom of the job posting made this comment: strong work ethic, interpersonal skills, creativity, and integrity are some of the qualities that we really look for in candidates. So these employer comments are very poignant to me, very profound in emphasizing and focusing in on those soft skills, those work ethic related attributes that employers really do care about most.